Hey everyone, it's Caroline, and today we are talking about how to recession-proof your career. And not a moment too soon, as it feels like every day there are scarier and scarier headlines coming out about mass layoffs and looming recessions and economic headwinds. And so it is totally understandable if all this uncertainty is making you second guess whether now is the right time to go after your career goals or whether it's better to sit back and see what happens and wait it out. Please don't do that. As one of my clients said the other day, it is a great time to look fear in the eye. I will tell you, as one of the most risk-averse people out there, the absolute best way to deal with risk is not to try to avoid it or wait it out, but proactively manage it. And so today we are going to talk about the 5 ways to recession-proof your career. And hopefully you'll see in these examples, while everyone else is kind of sitting back and hunkering down and not making moves, a tremendous number of opportunities open up for you. So let's get into it. Number 1, understand the reality on the ground. I get it, those headlines are scary and there are very real things happening. Maybe you even know people who have been affected, and yet that is not necessarily the reality everywhere. In fact, most places aren't affected. And so it's really important to be having the conversations, especially if where you are is not ultimately where you want to be having the conversations now. It's a tremendous opportunity to talk to your manager, to talk to higher ups, to talk to your peers. Understand what's going on in the organization as a whole, understand what the organization's goals are and how your part of the organization's goals align with that. Understand what's going on with hiring. Are there freezes, or do you have kind of carte blanche? I worked for a big bank in 2008 and 2009, and while even other areas of the bank were laying off thousands of people at a time, we had free reign to 2x and 3x our area of growth because our goal was the number one goal for the bank. And so there are always opportunities like this. And so especially if you are where you don't want to be looking for these opportunities, even perhaps within your organization. And now if you're saying, Caroline must be nice, I don't trust my boss, or I don't trust the higher ups, all the more reason to not put your career goals on hold, because especially if there is uncertainty about whether your job is safe and what's happening, why would you give those people that you don't trust the power over your destiny? Number 2, diversify your income streams. If we have learned nothing from the dot-com bust from 2008, please do not put all your eggs in one basket, whether that is the stock market or whether that is your income. It is always really interesting to me when people see kind of working for someone else and their paycheck as the safe option. Trusting your livelihood to an organization that is going to make decisions not based on your best interest, but their best interest, that is one of the riskiest things you can do. Start small, make it manageable, but find one other way to generate even just a little bit of recurring income each month. Get really creative. It could be real estate. It could be an Etsy shop. It could be marketing or monetizing a special skill that you have. Start something, not just for the income, that safety net of knowing that there's other money coming in if for whatever reason the worst case scenario happens with your paycheck, but it is one of the most fulfilling and empowering moves that you can make, to wake up in the morning and knowing that you can earn entirely on your own without anyone else kind of dictating the terms in which that you can do that. Number 3, you know I'm gonna say this, light up your network. When is the best time to network? When you don't need to network. You know, we've all done this, kind of waited too long, and then we're out in the market and panicking and trying to pretend like we don't need a job when all we need is a job. Start having those powerful conversations now about what you truly want, about what's really important to you. Worst case scenario, you've planted seeds. Now you have a bunch of incoming opportunities that you don't necessarily have to take. If the worst does happen, well, all you have to do is pick up the phone and say, remember that thing we talked about 3 months ago, 6 months ago? I'm ready to move. Number 4, boost your emergency fund. Now, I know you've heard the typical numbers thrown out of 3 or 6 months of savings. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice, but I think those are way too low. I really encourage you to save at least 1 year in a safe savings account. why. Usually from the time that you kind of go after a job and apply all the way through those interviews, negotiations, onboarding, it's very easily about 3 months. And so 3 to 6 months does not give you that much buffer. It is going to increase the pressure on you to get into something rather than getting into the right thing. Why would you do that to yourself? Give yourself a year. Give yourself time to say no to those almost there but not quite right opportunities. Give yourself time to really soul search and explore, maybe even take a bit of a break so that you can start that next opportunity refreshed. And number 5, last but not least, use this uncertainty as fuel. I get it. It is a very normal and human thing to want to kind of wait this out and not take any action. There are always opportunities. Get super creative. Maybe you use this opportunity, if there are layoffs at your company, to get on a list and negotiate your exit from the company on your own terms, giving yourself a beautiful financial runway so that you can kind of self-fund where you ultimately want to go in your career. But I really encourage you not to give in to that fear and uncertainty and put yourself back into the driver's seat and see how you can harness it and use it to propel you faster and further. I really encourage you to bet on yourself, not the job. Every now and then there's an article that comes out about like the 10 best recession-proof careers, or these 5 professions are safe in economic turmoil, or whatever. If you've been paying attention in the past few years, you've seen nothing has been untouched, no sector, no industry, profession. And so rather than kind of focus on an external job or career path as the safe option, focus on recession-proofing yourself so that you can continue moving those career goals forward and you have those safety nets built in so that in the event that unforeseen circumstances pop up, as they are wont to do, you can continue that trajectory and that speed in moving towards what you actually want rather than settling for what you don't. I hope you've enjoyed these 5 ways you can recession-proof your career. I'd love to hear your comments and questions below. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.